Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of Susie the cat. Um, it's a tricky one this week. I've been kind of doing a bit of work here now on the face and it's still not right, so I'm just going to try and get this face right and everything else will follow. Once you can get the face right on an animal or a person, everything else really is easy enough. Okay? So if you can see me all right there now, a little bit better. So, I'm going to swing the camera around and show you what I've done so far, and I hope you like it. So let's give it a go. I hope you're enjoying it too, by the way. Now, this is what I have done so far. Now, I just did a little bit of work on the face, okay? I kind of just redefined the eyes slightly. I still have a bit of work to do on these. There's more white on the fur here and here, so I just need to redefine that. And one other thing I need to do is bring the nose up. The nose is a little bit low because at the moment she is looking like a he. She's looking like a bit of a tomcat, I think, at the moment. Very kind of masculine or something. So looking at the photograph again, and I'm just going to see if I can get it up here now on the tablet for you. And there we are. Looking at the photo, her nose needs to be up higher and her mouth needs to be up higher as well. So it's not too bad so far. As you can see now, there's a lot more white around the eyes on this. A lot more white. Now, the photograph is not great either on the tablet. So it's sticking out a bit more, the white. It's not really as white as you can see here. But there's a lot more white down around the mouth as well. And I just want to make the face kind of slightly smaller, I think. And maybe a little bit wider as well. So, but look, I suppose on the whole, we're not doing too badly so far. I'm going to bring out some of the lights as well. Some of the light ginger, kind of a blondie ginger colour. So I'm going to bring some of those out a bit as well. The body is fine, I can work away with the body, but it's the eyes. So I basically want to make it slightly wider here and slightly narrower here. Okay? So I'm going to bring the nose up, maybe 10 millimeters or something. Bring the mouth up with that. In fact, if we do that, we might not even have to widen it slightly. But her face is just too long. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put in the ground here is tiles. It's kind of a reflection, I'll show you. So they're kind of bright tiles. So I'm going to just paint a kind of a bright cream and do some reflections. The very, very same as when we were doing the river. Okay? Just pull some hints of ginger down here and there and then blend it all out. And that'll be a nice little reflection on the floor. But I suppose so far so good anyway. It's not looking too bad. The eyes are not too bad at the moment. As I said, just a bit more white. The eyeball itself, it's not too bad. I'm reasonably happy with the eyeballs. The ears are not too bad. When all this one was now this is all dry. I've left this for a few days. So we're going to be putting some little flicks of hair in as well, here and there. Here and there. Pardon the pun. Here and there. So make it look nice and fluffy. So it's not too bad at the moment. Even at that, I think it's not too bad. My wife keeps when my wife is walking in, she keeps thinking Susie's sitting on the table, on the countertop. So that's a good sign if she thinks that. But we're not looking too bad, guys. Look, that's a bit better now, isn't it? The face needs to be a little wider, and I'm going to be accentuating the marks a little bit more on the head and around the eyes. The darker colours, I'm going to bring those out a little bit more and lighten the lights as well. Alright, so still a bit of work to do, but this is kind of just a first coat really. That's kind of all it is. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's okay for now. So I'm going to hook the camera up to my stand here lovely little stand I have. It's only just a little claw. It's hooked onto the chair. So we're going to just hook that on and we'll crack on and see if we can get it finished. So I'm just going to run you through what I have. Same as the last time. Same colours. I didn't change anything. I've changed my linseed and I put in just pure linseed. Just linseed oil, no nothing else, okay? That makes the paint nice and flory and it's great for doing details. There you go, refined linseed oil. So, it's only a tiny, tiny bit you need really for this, guys. The thing about oils is you don't really clean your brush as you would with acrylics or watercolours in the water. You don't wash your brush out. So what I tend to do with the brushes is I will have one colour. We say this brush I could use for the dark gingers, and then I will use that brush then all the time. If I'm cleaning it, I'll just literally dip it in a little bit, just to the tip of the brush, and wipe it like so. Clean the brush off, but it's never completely clean. And then I will use another brush, we'll say, for the lighter colours, the whites or whatever, and I keep that brush then just for the lighter colours. And again, quick dip and a quick wipe in the cloth. So I'm not going to be swirling it around in here. There's going to be paint on the brush all the time. So that's the difference with the oils. I know it's probably a slight disadvantage. If you want, you could have another container full of turpentine and just wash your brush out with that. But I think it would be a waste, to be quite honest. There's no need, really. So, that's it, guys. A couple of different brushes. Lots of different shapes. I have another big bowl of brushes here. Oh yeah, colour wheel. I said I'd introduce you to the colour wheel. This is a basic colour wheel, right? People use it for complementing their colours and getting ideas about what colours they want to, what colours will go with other types of colours. If you're an interior designer, it's very handy. An artist, you're very handy. It's very handy for artists. So for example, this arrow in the middle here is for complementing colours. So if you can see, if you have a dark blue here, the complementary colour to use next to that would be a very dark orange. So those two colours together on the canvas, or close on the canvas, will complement each colour very, very well. If you move the dial around, let's move it to a green, we'll say. So these two arrows here. So if you have a light green, then the complementary colour will be a kind of a light pink, light pinky red. So that's how you use the colour wheel, basically. If you're unsure about what colours are going to look nice together, especially for landscapes, just have a quick look at the colour wheel. So a light yellow will look very nice against a light lilac violet. Just gives you some ideas, but over time you kind of get used to the colours that you like and the colours that you know are going to look well together. So for example, the ginger against the plum and kind of purpley, they're kind of complementing each other. So if I swing this around to a kind of an orangey, gingery kind of a colour, let's just say an orangey yellow, you can see the blues are complementing that. So they're kind of complementing one another. This is my small one here. Eva, say hi, Eva.
Hi.
This is Eva. She loves painting as well, don't you?
Yeah, and I love Susie, and we have a little kitten called Rosie. She's so cute.
Yeah, we have a little kitten called Rosie as well, a new kitten, the black kitten, which you saw the last time, jumping off of this extractor here, almost breaking it on me.
And I know how to spell kitten in Irish too. It's pushy. Push.
You know how to spell kittens in Irish?
Kitten.
Kitten, what is it?
Pushy.
Pushy.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Pushy is kitten in Irish. Yeah, good girl, you're right. Okay guys, so that's it, that's the colour wheel. You can pick these up, this was very cheap, this is only like €1. €1 inside the craft shop. Pocket colour wheel. Very, very handy, and it gives you loads of information. Look, primary colours, secondary colours, tertiary colours, and you know, it helps you combine different tones. And what happens when you mix more and more and more white, into different colours. Very, very handy to have. It's really a must to have in your box. But as I said, over time you get quite used to it. Now, there's Rosie now, look. And I'd say she's looking to come in now, she's probably getting hungry. So that's Rosie and this is Susie. Well look, let's concentrate on Susie for now. So guys, I'm just going to hook this up there to this stand and I'll be right back, don't go anywhere. Okay guys, this is it. I have the camera now zoomed in slightly so you can see what I'm doing a bit better, okay? And when I come to the end here, we'll zoom back out and you can see the whole painting. So, I'm going to bring the nose up now just slightly, okay? So the top of the nose will start maybe here. And it might look a bit better. So, let's have a go and see how we can get on with it. Now, let's just dampen our blush. I'm taking this little brush here now. It's not great, but look, it'll do. I'm going to bring this dark now a bit higher here and then bring the nose up higher, okay? So I'm going to dip into my burnt sienna and let's go for a touch of burnt umber. And I love using these oil paints, especially because they're so rich. The darker colours are very, very rich with oil painting. If you notice, like the burnt sienna, the burnt umbers, the phaylo blues, they're very, very rich and they really give a lot of depth to your painting. So I just love using these colours now. And the linseed oil is really helping here now as well. And also, remember the linseed oil will give a lovely shine to your paint. Okay? A lot of people just use linseed oil on its own actually. I know a few people who use linseed oil just on its own. And that's perfectly acceptable as well. It does help the painting dry that little bit quicker. So it does give it a bit of flexibility as well. For instance, this will probably dry overnight now and I can come back to it tomorrow if I really need to, but I don't think I will. Right, now we brought her up a little bit, her face. I'm just going to darken as we go just here, okay? There we are, because it's going in behind the face here and it's getting quite dark, kind of a shadowy area. There we are. And I'm going to put some kind of purpley, gingery purpley kind of a colour in here after as well, into the shadow area, just to give that more depth. And we could even put a glaze on it as well. Now, what a glaze is basically, glazes are very handy for things like shadows. So what you would do is, when this is all dry, okay, you would mix up the glaze, a very, very watery glaze, maybe just with linseed oil, so like watercolour, okay? And when this is all dry, mix up a very dark purpley colour and just give this a slight brush with that colour, very, very watery colour. So the fur then is showing through that very, very thin watery colour. But the colour gives it a lot more depth then for your shadow. So you don't necessarily, just because they're oil paints, you don't necessarily have to use really thick paint. You can build up layers of glazes if you wish. And that's why they're so flexible. That's why I love using the oils. You know, you don't have to use the thick paint. No, that's okay, that'll do for now. That's actually, I'm going to take a tiny bit of cadmium yellow. And when I say cadmium yellow now, I mean the cadmium yellow which is almost like orange, not the yellowy cadmium yellow. Cadmium yellow pale is the very, very rich lemony yellow, okay? The normal cadmium yellow is more orange. Alright. There we are. Let's try and keep the colours a little bit now similar to what was there before. Because I don't want to sort of make a completely different colour. So I'm trying to match up the colour as best I can here. That's alright, that'll do. Right. So we've brought the bottom up slightly, and that's looking a bit better now actually, looking at the photo. Okay, and now I'm going to take another flat brush. This is kind of relatively new now, so it has a nice kind of a tip, nice chiseled edge to it, okay? So I'm going to take some, let me see now. Let's just work out a plan here of what we're going to do. We make up the nose colour, I think. So let's take a touch of cadmium red and some Naples yellow, and that should almost do. That should almost do. So let's bring it up here. Say, let's say 5 mil. All right. Comes across. You see, on the photograph, it's almost barely seen. The nose, it almost blends into the fur, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to be bringing the bottom up now as well, so don't worry about that. And it gets slightly darker just on the right hand side. I'm going to take in a touch more red and perhaps a touch of cobalt. Let's make a slight shadow just on this side here. Now these changes in colours are very, very minute, okay? They're only slight changes. But you will notice them when the painting is finished, if you know what I mean. And let's add a little bit more brown into that. And that will almost disappear then into the fur. Now there's a lot more darker browns around here, so I'm going to be getting those in a minute. In fact, there is a darker brown here coming off of the nose, and it follows the shape of the nose around. Okay, see that? And then I'm going to take some burnt sienna. Now that was just burnt umber I picked up there with the same brush, and now I have some burnt sienna. I'm just going to bring that down just a little, and let's flick it out here. It kind of flicks out here, like that, and then let's just blend it out. And you're probably saying that looks funny now, but we're creating the contour of the nose with the darks, you see. Alright, and you could even blend it into the nose slightly, you see? So you can see then the curve of the nose. And that's basically what painting is. You're just using your brushes to create different shapes. And we have another dark up around here, which I want to accentuate a little bit more. And comes off like that, and then it kind of turns, or 4 turns like this, and it turns upwards as well. So I'm just giving a hint of what's on the photograph now. I'm not going to be absolutely perfect, because you never will get it exactly the same. Let's be honest about it. You'll get a general impression of the animal. If you're really meticulous and you really take your time, you could get it very, very close, but I really don't want things to be absolutely spot on, so I'm just going to, there we go, that is not too bad, a little bit just down here. Now it's very dry brush, there's hardly any paint on this brush whatsoever. I'm just basically trying to get some of the markings right on the cat, just so that you look at it and say, oh, that's Susie. That's basically what I'm trying to achieve. I'm just deepening some of these darker colours now, okay? There's one right in the middle, and it breaks off in a sort of a V shape. All I do now is I'm just wiggling the brush, very, very gently up and down, like that. And the same on this side. There we are. And there's another one just here, and another one just here. And these markings are very, very evident when you look at Susie. Very, very evident. They're the first thing you see on her head when you look at her. These striking kind of V-shaped marks. Now, I'm just giving my brush a quick clean, and I'm not washing it out. I'm just dipping it in and rubbing it on the tissue. I now want to pick up some Naples yellow with a touch of white. I'm just going to lighten some of these because they are quite light. You see? Just here and there. And these are fantastic brushes as well for creating the hair. just by wiggling it, look, just slightly, you can create the hair. It's just fantastic. And I'm going to create a little curve on this now as well, just along here, for the nose. Coming along nicely now. And just blend it in with your finger. So as I was saying earlier, like the face, really, you need to get the face right. Spend a little time on this, and it will pay a dividend, I promise. Just a little time. And step back as well every now and again and have a look at it and see what you think, because things will always look different when you step back. See? And that's not too bad. Right, I'm going to blend some of these darker ones in. There we are, just slightly, because they're a little on the sharp side. There we go. And then I will take my blender brush and just pull it very, very gently. That's a bit better now. Well, so far so good. So, the nose. I'm going to bring the nose up now a little on this. So I'm just going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to just cut across there with some white, just to bring this up a little bit, okay? Yeah. And I'm going to pull the white just out, and it kind of comes up around here like that. And let me just have a quick look here now at the photo. Kind of goes over across like that, and it kind of goes off up to the side then, and it disappears around the side of our face. Alright. Yeah, there's a couple of... I'm trying to get the curvature of our face here now, that's all I'm doing basically. And I'm using the brush to create that. Now I'm just going to paint right across this. She has a very kind of a flat look at the very end of her face here, of her mouth. It's almost flat right across, and then it tapers off up here. So just work away now, taking our time, forming the mouth area. And we're going to be getting whiskers in there now very soon as well. Make her look like a cat. And now I'm going to take some naples yellow with white and just highlight some of these little curves here. Alright. And there's a little bit coming down like that. And we're going to blend these out in a minute now with the blender brush as well. And there's a couple around here. There's one very light bit just there. What do you think, Eva? My daughter was standing next to me looking. What do you think?
It is very nice.
Is it nice? Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, let's hope Eva's going to be a successful artist like her dad. Yeah?
I think you should do better next because she's just sitting here.
Now, let's do the dark in the nose here. So let's just take a pointy brush, small pointy brush, and let's take some... Let's go for some burnt umber with some red. Little touch of cadmium red, some burnt umber. And let's just get the darks in here first. Now, this side kind of shoots around like that. And it comes down a little like that underneath. And the other side is not so prominent, but we could make it almost the same, I suppose. It doesn't really matter, does it? And it kind of shoots up around like that. Sort of shows the outline of the nose just a little, and little curve here. It's not too bad so far. Still needs a bit of work, but look, we'll get there. I'm going to put a little light just in the center here, and with a the blender brush, just going to try and catch that light and just pull it back slightly. And it's made a bit of a mess of it, hasn't it? But that's okay. Let's just pick up some black and go in around here. There we go. And that's probably even a little bit big. So I'm just going to go back into my light pinky colour. So you see, if you go over something too much, you can just paint back over it again. And there we go. Now I'm even going to pull this pink here up into this forward, just very, very, very slightly. Ah, that's a bit better now, isn't it? Right. The white under the nose. I'm just going to take another brush, another dry brush, and let's just dampen it slightly and pick up some white. Now, at the center, it kind of turns out like this. And then at the other side, it does the same. It kind of comes down and turns out. And then just along the bottom here. Then let's take a pointy brush again. And I'm going to put some cobalt blue on it this time. With a touch of black. And it's going to be slightly lighter now, this colour. It's going to be light grey, okay? And let's just put in the mouth. Very, very carefully. Bring it around like that. And the other side comes down as well. And kind of comes out like that. Almost the same. And it kind of blends down into the fur and underneath. Okay? And that is not too bad. I might just put an extra little bit of white just under here. Just a little, just a little. Okay, not too much. Now, we also have a couple of little dots around here. So with some burnt sienna and burnt umber, let's just put a couple of dots here and there. There's not that many now, not that many. It's just like where her whiskers kind of come out. So on that side, and there's a couple on that side. There's not as many here as there is on the other side, but that's just a photograph. Let's just bring them around here. And there's one or two just up here. I'm just putting some little details in now, that's all I'm doing. Couple of details. Now, I want to focus on the eyes again. There are some very, very bright whites just around here on the eyes, okay? And I want to try and get that in. So I'm just picking up some white with this brush, the same brush, which I've cleaned. And just going to put some white in there. And it kind of comes down here slightly. And then let's try and blend that off. There we go. And up here, it kind of flicks out just slightly there. And let's pull it out then with the finger, look, just slightly. You see? And here as well, on this side. I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to just pull it gently with my little baby finger upwards. You see? And that blends it for you then. Now, this side is the same. Here. And this one up here. Little bit of white there. And a little bit here. It's not too bad. No. Right. Just going to concentrate on this paw here. Let's just try and get some hair up around here and just give it some form. So some burnt sienna, some burnt umber, and just give us a nice kind of a gingery brown colour. Now I'm just looking at the photograph, comes up like that and around. And let me add some Naples yellow into that. Tone it down slightly. And then this hair colour kind of flicks up and around like this. There we go. And it's kind of flicks around here, side to side. It almost blends into the hair behind it. So let's blend this in onto the hair behind it here, like that. So you can see now that's kind of blended in to her body. Now I'm just going to take some white with my same brush, and I'm going to just put some white on the front of this paw here. There we go. And it kind of comes around like that. And then there's kind of white flicks here and there, just on the paw. It's not too bad. We'll keep going at it. Now we'll try and get some nice contours here now, okay? So let's mix some of that colour and bring it around. Very, very lightly now with the brush, and hardly even touching it. Alright, just very, very lightly. Go. Now stay out of the shadows, don't mess up the shadows. I'm going to keep the shadows, they're our friends. And let me pick up some burnt sienna and burnt umber, and just at the back here, back of the paw, we have a bit of shadow as it curves around, and then it comes up here and disappears into the body. Not too bad so far. Now I'm going to pick up some Naples yellow and just around here, actually some white as well, Naples yellow and some white, and just around here there's a very bright highlight, just on it, because the sunlight, or the light should I say, it's catching her paw just around there, and bring it down this way. There we go, that, and this paw now is a very, very bright white, just here. So I want to get that in. There we go. Just on the outside. And here and there now, let's just do some flicks. Little flicks, very, very subtle flicks. Just here and there. And that will emphasize the light catching the hair. I'm keeping it in a section all the way along. That will emphasize the light sort of catching one curve of our body, if you like, if you understand what I mean. I'm going to put some around here, just a little, just here and there. Let's not go crazy, let's not make a mess of it. It's okay now so far, so I'm going to leave it. And whiskers, let's crack on with whiskers. whiskers, white whiskers. So I'm going to dip into my linseed and make a nice mix, a nice flowy mix of white on the brush, and basically just pull them out. Now very carefully, we don't want to wiggle this, so I'm steadying my hand on the countertop here and I'm just going to flick it out like that, and the one underneath it can come down slightly, and I'm wiping the tissue, the tip of my brush with the tissue, taking the dirty paint off, and I'm going back into the white again, and let's do a few more. And there's another one. You could even use your palette knife for this if you wanted to, and just go along it with your palette knife very carefully, but it's up to yourself really. There we go. And I see one or two just up here. Would you call them eyebrows? Or eyelashes? No, they're not eyelashes. They're like little tiny flicks. Just here and there. And let's do the other side. Now, try and get this somewhere similar. This is going to be tricky. Yeah. Not too bad. I don't want to have one side longer than the other side, so curve this one slightly. That's not too bad now, is it? Ah, that is not too bad. That will do, I think. That will do for now. Okay, let's do this floor. Let's crack on and do the floor. I'm just going to pick up the old brush that I was using, and I'm going to go into some white. And let's just put some white. Now there's already a kind of a Naples yellowy colour on the brush, so that's fine. That can mix with the white. That will do me just fine. And I'm going to put this white now just across under here, underneath the cat. So this will be the tiled area that she's sitting on. Paint this all the way across. Suppose you could blend it into this purple colour if you want. You don't have to have a hard edge on it. Just go along here, like so. Now, I'm going to dip into a touch of cobalt blue and magenta. Just a touch. And what I'm going to do with that is just behind here, I'm going to just deepen it slightly. Only just slightly. Just to give it a bit of texture. A little bit of shadow just in under here. There we go. Now, so let's just take a relatively flat brush. I'm just going to take some dark colours really and pull them down. Now, I'm going to take a touch of burnt umber and a touch of burnt sienna. Burnt umber, a touch of burnt sienna, and just in the shadow areas, let's just pull it down very gently, just a little. Okay, not too much. just where the dark areas are on the cat. Let's go in behind here, a bit of it. And just pulling it down, that's all I'm doing. Very, very, very simple. And you'll enjoy doing this. The very same as when you're painting reflections in the river, which is always fun. There we go. And because I have the white on there already, it's mixing in lovely with the white. There we are. I'm going to mix a bit of darker colour just for that shadow area. Some magenta, some cobalt blue. Let's just check it now first. I almost want to blend it together. I don't want a very hard edge separating these colours. I want them to sort of blend together just very, very slightly. There we are. And I think, let's get some Naples yellow, and let's just pull this right the way down, and oh yeah, this darker colour, I want to reflect that, so I'm going to take some cadmium red, some cobalt blue, okay, cadmium red, cobalt blue, touch of burnt umber. And let's pull this down here. Now I'm just going to lift the board slightly so I can get right down to the end of the board, okay? Now forgive me if I mess this up. Now, there we go. I just want to pull that down. I just want to give a general impression of the reflection coming down onto the tiles. That's all I want to do. There we are. And then, with the blender brush, let's pull that down, right the way down. And blend it all nicely together. There we go. That's not bad now. So I hope you're really enjoying this tutorial. I've been busy for the past couple of days doing some other bits and pieces, so I haven't been doing much painting this week, so I'm just trying to get this tutorial done. I'll come back next week then with a nice landscape, yeah? We'll get a nice landscape going. Something nice and mountainous perhaps. Or I was even thinking maybe Blackrock Castle as well. Blackrock Castle would be a nice one, I think. Now, just blend it. Give me your suggestions. Leave some comments what you would like to see painted. So let's just pull this sideways now, side to side. And that is not bad at all. So, let me see now, let me see. I'm going to push one little line just along the bottom to emphasize a line of the tile, okay? I'm not sure, should I or should I not? A line going across this way? No? Alright guys, maybe not. Maybe not. As I said, I don't want to ruin it. I want to go up here to the ears and put some little white flicks with some white for the white fur inside the ears, okay? So I'm just taking some white with some linseed oil, and I'm just going to do a couple of little flicks just here and there. Okay. And the same on this side. There we go. That's just emphasizing the white fur just inside the ears. So guys, I think we're almost done. I think Susie turned out fairly well. I might just wait till it dries and maybe just go around and touch up just a little bit here and there. Not too much, just a little. let's just put in a little suggestion of the fur. With some Naples yellow. Yeah. So just this kind of work, you know, just going around once it's dry, putting in just little details just here and there. But I think, guys, on a whole, I think Susie turned out quite well. And I will be happy enough to hang this on my wall now. And I think my wife would be happy enough to hang it on the wall. Because her opinion really is the most important. And if she likes it, then I'm happy enough with that. There we go. Because she loves Susie. Susie's really like a part of the family, as are most pets, as I'm sure you'd agree. There we are. And guys, I think that's a wrap. I'm going to go ahead and sign. And please stay tuned, leave a comment. I hope you like these tutorials as well, by the way. I'm just trying to teach you the basics of painting. And I'm sure there are people out there who could teach me one or two things as well, and I'd love for you to contact me. We'll have an old chat about some painting. So guys, let me just disconnect this from the stand so you can see. We'll zoom back then and we'll have a good look at it. Now, so there we are. Susie the cat. And I think she turned out okay. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it wasn't perfect, but I'm relatively happy with that. Seeing that I normally paint landscapes, I wouldn't be very familiar with the technique of painting animals. As I said, I've painted them in the past, but I think for what it is, I think it looks lovely, and I hope you liked it. So I will see you next time. So God bless and thanks again. Goodbye.